listening to the Medic Materials Podcast, hosted by Mike Turek, Emily Yates, Kelsey Coons, and Gerard Cuomo. All are current EMS providers and educators with a combined 30 years experience. Each month, we discuss EMS news, medical science, and review actual EMS calls, bringing many educational opportunities to the listener. Portions of the calls have been altered to protect the privacy and identity of all involved.
Hello and welcome everyone back to the Medic Materials Podcast. It's kind of different feel today, isn't it, Gerardo?
It's weird.
It's a weird feeling today. We are in the second week of October.
Yeah.
And we're recording our 50th episode that was supposed to air a month ago.
Yeah. Wow.
But it does have an odd,
Way to let the fans down.
Yeah, I know, right? Boo, you suck. It's one of those things is as everybody knew going into this show and having, been listening and in the know, they knew that I was in the process of moving. In the sale of a house, into the purchase of a house, and moving 2 hours away from that old house. And that was going to really shake up the foundation of where the podcast was going to be, because it used to just be recorded at my house. Because everyone was nice and close and easy, and we could all just meet in the central location. And then I had to be a jackwagon and move.
Mm-hmm.
So then the bunker became your bunker.
Yeah.
And that's where we're sitting today.
It is.
It's a brand new location for the show. And it feels good to finally be in a new spot. Now that I'm moved and I've moved away from everybody.
Hold my beer.
I know, right? As I'm introducing the foundational quakes that we're making in the show. You have some news on the 50th episode of the show, don't you, Gerard?
50th episode, first from the bunker at my house.
Yep.
My last from the bunker at my house.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I am moving as well.
Yeah.
But I ain't just moving an hour away.
Which is so sad. You should move an hour closer to me.
Yeah, well, that would put me then about 9 hours away.
I know. Good gravy.
Yeah, so I had an opportunity, I think. And I guess it's an opportunity.
I think it's an opportunity. For sure.
To go do paramedicine in a cool place. And me being the person who always dives headfirst into the shallow end of the pool, I went ahead and did the same thing I always do.
That causes neck injuries, right?
What?
Diving headfirst into the shallow end of the pool, it causes neck injuries.
Oh, hold on, I can't see. Let me turn my wheelchair around. So away I go. This is it. And tomorrow night I'll be on the road.
Tomorrow night you will be on the road. So you will be recording from a new satellite studio.
The southern bunker.
The southern bunker. And I think, this lends itself. You and I have been talking a lot about how this is going to affect the podcast and Medic Materials as a whole and everything about our relationship. And I think, as you pointed out, it gives a great opportunity to expand the show because we've said it many times before. The four of us get along so well, but we've never done EMS outside of New York State.
Yeah.
And this is the first opportunity that one of us can bring a different perspective from a different system, from a different state, not local to anything that we've known, into the show. And I think that's really I find that to be the most exciting thing about the whole move.
Yeah. Like I said, I told you I was listening during one of my multiple trips down there in the past month or so. you know, I was listening to a couple of the old episodes just to kind of keep myself awake. And, yeah, there was one where you came on and we're talking about how cool it would be to be able to go to another state and broadcast, you know, do a show from, like, their, you know, ambulance bay and talk to their people and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, he actually said that, like, fucking 2 years ago or, you know, a year ago.
Who knows?
Like,
yeah. I don't even remember saying that, but I mean,
but
it's like I said, I think it's a growth opportunity for you as a human being, you know, and it's not like,
I
you
need
know,
to start shrinking. I've been growing way too much.
you know, and you know, there's still always Kelly that could take your pot. Take your spot.
Take my pot?
Take your pot. Well,
take my
we
pot.
did just
That
find the
too.
bong in the closet, right?
we did. We totally. So, so peel the curtain back. We're in my stepdaughter's old room, which is now the new
bunker.
And I'm sitting on the chair near where her old closet was, because I mean she's married and has like 2 kids now, and they've already moved out long ago, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking up on the top shelf that's just sitting there's like this bottle, and I'm like, that bottle just looks weird, and I look and I'm like, oh shit, it's got a bowl on it. Oh fuck, it's a bong.
Oh man, you know, I wonder. Okay, you said that Tammy. Whoa, I wonder if Tammy even knows about it, right?
Right.
I wonder if it's Tammy's.
Oh,
Ooh, the plot
Dun,
thickens.
dun.
But I would think she'd just be like, "Hey, Gerard, you want to share?"
I'm not gonna say it because I want to live, but okay. I feel like I'm gonna say it anyway. I like to live dangerously. It might just mellow her the fuck out.
You're not going to survive this move.
I was just gonna say, and next thing you know, like the next episode 51. I'd like to remember our good friend Gerard.
Gerard moves in with Turek.
Right. Hey, broadcasting from Turrek's couch.
Right. Oh my God.
In my tears and underwear.
That's just awful. I love it. So with the news, you know, the last thing that I wanted to kind of point out is that Gerard, you and I are working on a secret project.
Super secret.
A like what? Oh fuck!
It's
what was the line?
It's so secret that
You
unlike
can't get the
every
words out.
I was just gonna say it's
I
so
know,
secret,
right?
Unlike every other secret we've ever had, this time Emily doesn't know about it.
Emily doesn't know about it.
I
That's
know,
true.
This is weird.
That's
I know,
true.
completely, right?
It's not like we ever tell the girls anything.
Yeah. I don't know why that shocks you.
But yeah, you and I are working on a you know, double secret, super, you know, probationary,
Probation,
you know, secret type project.
Top secret, special compartmentalization, you know, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a Patreon secret
It will be.
that I think probably within the next month or so, maybe.
I would say probably, yeah, within the next week or so.
Maybe then that we can start releasing some details here and there about this this super secret project. But if you, this is my only you know, rig check item. If you are not a Patreon, you might want to go over and subscribe now. And I'm not saying to, you know, get more money out of everybody, but the super secret project is going to be on the $7 level of the Patreon. So the salty providers will get this exclusive access to our new secret, and yeah, it will be 100% worth it. Like I said, we're going to be releasing some details here in probably over the course of the next month, I would say, until the launch day, and yeah, there might even be a countdown that you might have to take a look for, or you know, see if you can find. But yeah, so I guess the only other news of the day is our good partner and friend and brand new paramagician. Kelsey has now gotten her paramedic card, as well as her ability to actually work on paramedic level patients.
Which is why she's probably not here.
Which, I mean, that very well could be. But congrats to her. So if you are on the social media, send us a message. Just say, congratulations, Kelsey. Yeah. I will forward them all to her. She will appreciate all of them immensely. So today, our discussion, all right, I did not bring a call for today.
And this time, nobody told me nothing. So I'm with you, Em. You and I are the mushrooms.
Oh, love it. So a while back when I was getting ready for the 50th episode of the show, I put out a thing to our fan base that just said, hey, if you have questions, let us know.
Okay.
And we'll talk about them. And so I got a question that I pulled out of all of the other questions. Because, we got stupid questions and silly questions, and
I'd like to hear those.
They were fun.
You would.
They were fun.
Yeah, I like stupid, silly questions.
They were fun.
They're great.
But this one hit to exactly what we talk about all the time on this show.
All right.
And
it's gonna be serious.
It's gonna be serious.
Fuck.
It's always serious. You know me. I pick the serious over the fun, right? So this listener, who shall remain the unnamed Voldemort of the
use, like, hey, how many times a day do you guys fart? Or something funny like that.
No, it's not. This is
the one you picked. There's probably like one like that in the did not choose pile.
There probably was.
Yeah, right.
There of course there was one that was, what is your favorite Subway sandwich?
Oh, fucking A. Right? Great. We could debate that for an hour.
We could debate that for an hour. So here's the base of the actual question. How do you deal with, quote, that partner? And I'm going to call this person Voldemort because it just makes sense.
I don't understand what that means, but sure.
Emily
That's a
does.
movie reference you didn't get? What?
He's never watched Harry Potter.
Oh, is that Harry
Fucking
Potter
mark
thing?
this in the books. Are you kidding?
No,
I knew what that meant.
I'd never seen Harry Potter, no.
So
when Alan Rickman passed away, I was like, oh man, Hans Gruber died. And everyone's like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, Alan Rickman. They're like, oh, Professor fucking Dumbledore. I'm like, I don't fucking know who the fuck that is.
Oh my god. So in Harry Potter, the villain is Voldemort, and everybody will not use Voldemort's name, so they call him He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to call the listener, who won't be named, that sent us in this question, Voldemort, for the rest of the show.
Okay.
All right.
So he's a bad guy?
No, just because he who should not be named.
There's so many other. You could have just said He Who Shall Not Be Named. Now you got to make him a bad guy?
But Voldemort's cool.
But he's a bad guy.
But he's a cool bad guy.
So we're like, we're just going to call this guy the Emperor, okay?
I mean, you could. All right, Han Solo. Right. Why are you being fucking picky, all right?
Words, man. They mean things.
All right, so how do you deal with that partner? That is the subject matter of today's show. The story goes that Han Solo, Voldemort, or whoever you want to be called, works in a rustic ambulance district.
Okay.
All right. And they work normal, normal configuration. So they're an EMT basic and their partner is their paramedic.
I feel like I've prepared my whole life for this question.
Right.
Yep. Right. But surprisingly, they say that even though they're in a rustic district, they're one of the only ambulances in that rustic district. So their call volume for their area is actually quite high.
Okay.
And they say the first part of their problem is that their medic literally treats them like a EMT basic that's a driver. They're not allowed to do anything within the confines of the back of the ambulance.
Huh.
So so they write the medic won't let me do anything and hardly lets me into the back of the rig.
Really?
So my first question, right? Because now they're wondering, you know, how their skills are going to be, and we'll get through a bunch of the other things that Voldemort Han Solo here was telling me. But
all right,
how does that affect providers? Like, what in this case, and we'll kind of get into what this provider should be doing about this situation, but, you know, us as paramedics, I always try and make the EMTs do as much as humanly possible. And like, I want to hear from you specifically, because on the EMT side, what happens when you get the medics that treat you like this?
I just had this yesterday. Literally my first shift in months. I pick up 3 hours to help my boss out, and I get a dickbag paramedic.
Really?
I'm so sorry.
Yesterday we show up on scene. He walks in, introduces himself, doesn't say anything about us walking behind him. This is a BLS ambulance and a paramedic fly car. We are two separate agencies. So I do not work for the paramedic. I do not work with the paramedic. Like, we're two separate agencies.
Right.
So it doesn't say anything about us. Walks in, pauses. I walk in. I'm like, hey, my name is Emily. This is my blah, blah, blah partner. What's going on today? And this patient tells me about her belly pain. I said, well, how long has that been going on for? And the paramedic goes, excuse me, can you get the meds? And I said, are you talking to me? He was like, yeah, can you get the meds? And I was like, no, if you want the meds, you go get them.
Good job.
Nice.
Absolutely not. Like, are you out of your mind? I just don't understand people talk.
Hey.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm good with that. You know, it's less work that I have to do. I in fact, I wouldn't have said nothing to you. I would have just stood there and listened to the answers.
Right.
And watch the patient and look at, you know, do things with my eyes, get things ready with my bag, you know, get things ready with my monitor. But
right. I don't like.
Well, I think that's relevant to this question, though. Like, I think that, you know, they're doing a disservice to the providers and to the patient when you're saying that you have two sets of hands and you're taking one set out, because why? Do you want to be a dick?
Well, and I don't know if it's a ego thing, like, I'm a big bad paramedic, stroke my ego, you're beneath me. But, like, you were an EMT at one point in time. Like, we all go, like, you can't just go to.
It's getting more and more the other way, but no, I know what you're saying.
But you have to rise from the ranks. Like, you can't just go and be a paramedic without being an EMT first. In 90%, in 90% of the scenarios out there.
Right.
So it's like, why are you shitting on what you just were? Because now you have a different patch on your shoulder. It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, it.
But we're also in a group that would never do that to a provider. So we're not going to understand, like, why this happened.
That is very true. Like, again, I don't treat my EMTs poorly.
Right.
I want to pull the EMT up to my level, because then that benefits me, because I don't have to sit there and be like, oh, what's my EMT doing? Are they fucking up? Because I know they got it. They're solid. And I can just do my own thing. Like, and the patient benefits from both of us.
Yeah. I mean, I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like, yeah, you know, there've actually been, and the only one I can think of is one time. It may have happened on another occasion or not, but, and it was mainly due to having, what I consider a scene safety issue with my partner, you know, and it was talked about repeatedly that day. And then finally that partner went and did the same exact thing we'd already talked about, walked in without me, was in the house by himself while I was still getting my shit. And I come walking in, and they're already in the middle of a patient conversation, you know, doing an assessment. And I said, okay, well, now you can stop talking to him and tell me everything you just told him.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that was like literally the only time I pulled the dick card.
But at the same point,
I was trying to drive a point home.
Right.
You know?
Right. And at times, you know, you kind of have to do that, you know, but for every day.
But it sounds like this person, is having a continued issue with this. It's not like a one-time.
Right. And that's exactly so ultimately they go on and say they're basically a driver with an EMT-B patch on their shoulder, right? And they're kind of worried that their level of proficiency is going to decrease because they're not seeing
Well,
patients,
100%.
right? But then they're also concerned that they're going to get looked down on from an agency and a hospital level because they're losing their credibility to, I guess in their system, they work very closely with the hospitals. So like the hospitals know it's a rustic.
They know who's on the truck.
They know who's on the truck. So like, I've worked in those districts too, where all the nurses and the doctors when you walk into the hospital and they know you and you're like, and they trust you more because they see that you're intelligent, you're proficient, and that you know what you're talking about. But this hospital clearly isn't seeing that this person is worth anything, and they're concerned that now they're losing credibility and trust with not just their partner and their agency, but now local hospital staff too.
So I guess my question would be, is this a corporate culture kind of systemic thing in their agency where, because we all know the agencies that are becoming more and more of them, that it's, oh, you're an EMT, you don't do anything. You're just there to pick stuff up, put stuff down.
Right.
Everything has to go ALS. Everything has to be paramedic. It's all paramedic. Is it one of those kind of places?
So I have other information that we'll get to that kind of ties into the agency is a part of the problem.
Right, because if they foster that type of attitude, then...
But even if it is that's not saying that your partner can't do anything.
Oh, no, I know, yeah. I'm just saying you couple that type of corporate culture with an asshole.
I think the corporate culture
it's the perfect storm.
I think the corporate culture is worse than what we are discussing now. Okay. Let's put it that way, and you'll see kind of when we get further along. But yeah, like it. How does this provider go about, working a full-time shift with this, this person? Like, they're not there for 12 hours a week with this person. Right. They're there for 40 hours, So it's like, I remember being an EMT and working with a paramedic that I couldn't stand for a year. And that paramedic would constantly, talk down to me, berate me, like, I was brand new, so I didn't know anything. I had just been a driver for like 3 or 4 months of that year. So, it was miserable. Him and I didn't speak for a year at all.
Yeah.
And as soon as I could get off the shift, I did. And I was like, see you later, goodbye. You're a dick. Like, whatever. I couldn't imagine going through 40 hours a week. I did one 12-hour shift with him a week for a year, and I almost blew my head off.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like what the best. I guess it would depend.
I mean, I would call him out on it. Like
that's
is there a part to it where like he doesn't trust you, and if that's the case, like what about it doesn't he trust you with, and like make it a learning opportunity?
Right.
I think that I guess I'm jaded because I've had too many people do this to me as a BLS provider, and they're like, well, you're just BLS, you don't know what you're talking about. But like, you don't know anything about me, you don't know anything about my education, so just shut the fuck up.
Right.
But my start to that is always like, well, what did I miss? Like, what did you see that I didn't? Or, like, what made you think this on this call? I'm really curious.
Right.
It's not always going to work out, but I think that's a good start.
Yeah.
I mean, I was toying in my head, like, and I guess it depends on the kind of person this partner is. Is he, just one massive ego, but absolutely no fucking stones between his legs? Or is he, one of these guys that, is just been there, done that, and all that stuff, and this is just the way he is. He's just an angry ogre,
Right.
And honestly, I would say if it's the former, if it's just gigantic ego, well, that you can definitely call him out on it. I would address it directly. I'd be like, hey, what's your fucking problem? You want to do all the fucking work yourself? I'm more than happy to let you do that.
Yeah.
But you're kind of a dickhead.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows it.
Right.
I'd go right to their ego and fuck with it.
Yeah.
that might work. You know, who knows? If they're more the other way, I would just, to use an English term, I would bollock my way into the back of the fucking ambulance and just start doing my job.
And you know,
I would just start doing stuff and let him say something in front of the patient.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking. And just take, you know, Emily, you've said this before too. You just kind of have to do it.
Yeah,
like you're a provider. You know what you should be doing. Just start doing it. And if they don't like it, oh well, who cares? You're doing your job.
Right.
You know.
Right, and you're not. It doesn't matter. And, you know, yesterday that paramedic was like, well, it's my patient. Like, it's our patient.
Right.
It's not one person's patient. Nobody owns this person.
Right.
So, you know, if I'm going to go check a blood sugar on the altered mental status, then you can't stop me.
Right. Right. I think that's where I was even thinking, it was literally funny you even said that. Like, literally, I was thinking about that. I was like, you know, so go in the back, you know, you see them, you know, you understand what kind of patient you're dealing with. You're an EMT. You know, if you think it's going to be cardiac, hey, you know, go ahead and start getting that 12 lead ready to go. And if he says something, hey, what are you doing with that 12 lead? Yeah, put that down. You know, I'm going to do that. Okay, great. And then you immediately just pick up the glucometer.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Why not?
Move on to the next
yeah,
step.
I'll keep making you waste your fucking time dicking with me, or you can just shut the fuck up and let me do my job.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's it.
Right.
So, like, you kind of have to make a determination of, like you said, what kind of person they are. Can you confront them head on?
Yeah.
Right. Or, you know, and kind of what was going through my head when you were discussing how you would look at this person is, are they the type of person that talks the big game, but then is going to try, if you do say something and confront them or start doing your job or whatnot, then going to turn around to management and try and steamroll you, right? Because they're insecure, because they're not really all that in a bag of donuts. And I only say this because, in my opinion, they are not all that in a bag of donuts. Now,
that's why you're better with the politics stuff, man, because I don't think that far ahead. Maybe that's always been my problem.
Well, I also, you know, I'm getting a one-sided story from Voldemort here. However, there's a lack of trust, at least in my opinion, between these two providers.
Right.
And I think it has a lot to do with the paramedic performing things that they should be doing, but doing them so poorly that then they have to cover them up that they've done them poorly.
It could be.
All right. And this BLS provider is like, what the fuck? Like, you can't be doing that. Right. And without using, you know, incredible examples that they have given, because I don't think we need to go that far. Let's just say that you and I do a procedure, right, that just so happens to administer fluid to somebody.
Okay.
But someone's arm moves, and we can no longer give fluid to somebody.
Okay.
Right? But instead of cleaning up the mess, we just put tape over it and hide it.
And pretend
everything is fine.
Oh, so now this is painting an even better picture.
So,
because that tells me everything I need to know about who this person is.
Exactly. So, again,
not necessarily who it is, but you know what
we
I mean,
go to the trust issue. Yeah. If I saw my paramedic doing that, or if M was my EMT and she saw me, God forbid, doing something like that, I would think that somebody would be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, that is not okay.
That's egregious, dude. No.
Right? And I don't know. You know, again, I'm getting a one-sided story, and who knows if they actually do this or not, you know? But
yeah, I mean, it,
how do you deal with that type of provider? Because clearly they have the stones to walk into a hospital.
So you know how you deal with that?
And being like, hey.
I'll tell you how you deal with that. And this is not, I should really be careful how I answer things.
Yes.
But, yeah, you know what? when have I ever given a shit? I don't care.
Honestly, why are you filtering now?
Right? Yeah. So here's how you fucking deal with it. And this may not be the syllabus, per SOP of the agency you're working for, on how to deal with these issues. But here's how you deal with it. Every fucking place I've ever worked has a town crier. There's one person that you can go to, tell them anything you want, and within 3 hours, everyone in the station is going to know about it because they can't keep their fucking mouth shut. That's how you deal with it. You go tell that person, hey, this dude's a fucking asshole. Hey, he's fucking, this is what he did. Can you imagine that? Mm-hmm. Holy shit. Yeah, don't tell anybody, and then you walk away. It's basically kicking the door in and throwing in a grenade. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean,
that's how you deal with it.
So
you let the glitch fix itself.
So just spitballing here.
Yeah.
What happens when that happens and administration knows about it, but just doesn't do anything about it?
Well, because they care about the warm
because
butt
they care about
seat.
warm butts and and warm seats. So like, again, who knows if this is happening? I'm just kind of spitballing ideas, but
like I said, town crier, and if it gets back to me, oh well. Yeah, that's exactly what I told the fucking dude. Am I lying?
Well, it's not even that, but
No, I know what you're saying.
Like
Nothing
I feel,
gets done.
Right. Nothing would get done about it if administration doesn't take it seriously. And how many agencies out there that just, they don't care what egregious things happen.
I know.
They just want butts and seats, and it takes a toll on, and again, this is a hypothetical. I wasn't gifted this information. I don't know if administration knows or not.
No, then I won't give you a hypothetical. I've worked at a place where someone blatantly killed somebody, and everybody knows they killed somebody, and everyone knows they could have saved that person, but they didn't. They chose to do nothing, and at the end of the day, the patient died. Everything was flagged. Everything went up the chain like it was supposed to do, and not a fucking thing was done. Why? Because somebody had to be in the fucking seat.
Yeah. So, how many times over does it happen per week? I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's not just a New York issue. This is an everywhere issue.
Yep.
So, like, where does it come to a point where we have to start looking out for the betterment of the profession in weeding these people out? If management's not going to do it, the only other way, at least with us, is to go to the region or the state and be like, here's a filed complaint on this person for doing this. But then you look like a total asswipe because you're now reporting people.
Why though? Why does that
doing
make
the
you
right
look like an
thing?
asswipe?
Well, no. I'm just saying, I don't think they're an asswipe. I think they're great. I'm just saying, that most of their other employees are going to sit there and be like, oh man, why'd you turn in, Chewbacca for,
why do you think I did?
Be
like, watch yourself next time or I'll turn you in next. I don't give a shit.
Again, but I am throwing out the catch-22 other black side of things. Like,
so you asked at what point does this change? I'll tell you what point it changes. It changes
when you move to a better system.
When you move to a better system, yes. No, it changes when the almighty dollar is no longer the focus of a rescue squad or an ambulance company or whatever service you belong to. When you take that out of the equation, they're no longer fighting for every dollar and every transfer and whatever else they can get to get a fucking dollar through the door and get their call volume up. That's when it stops. Because then the focus becomes on patient care and personnel.
Right.
That's it.
What?
Yeah.
And you think systems like that might exist?
I believe they do.
Yeah.
What?
I'll let you know next week.
Yeah.
It really, we've talked so much about culture and profession and, like the whole society of EMS on the show that, this is kind of just, it's one of those those situations that you wish you never hear about and
Yeah.
you know exist, but it's like we've all been there with terrible partners that do terrible things, you know, that get away with it, and you're just like, how the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, and
Right.
and one of the things that
You look
I
at
always
their charts when they come through and you're doing QA and you're just like, how the fuck does this mother continue to practice?
well, not
I'm
even
literally doing this right now,
right.
currently.
not even that, but you know what, like, always my thought process through this whole thing is every time that I know about a provider that does these like crazily egregious horrible things.
Is crazily a word?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Could you just said crazy?
No.
Adding the
Crazily.
extra
It
syllable?
has to be crazily.
So 3 syllables instead of 2.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Now you fucked my
Sorry.
thinking up.
Hey, you know, there goes that college education again.
Zing.
Fucking kicking right in.
No, I always just wondered, like, we all sit there and go, how'd that call go?
Right.
How could I have done better? Like, you know, oh man, you know, maybe I did this, maybe I did that. I might, you know.
I can't tell you how many times we're sitting there and it's like, okay, here's what here's this, that, and the other thing. What would you have done?
Right.
Before you
And-
say a word about what you actually did.
Exactly.
You know?
Right? You kind of go over how things should or
Yeah.
could have gone, right? How you got better. I don't understand how these people that do these crazy things don't sit there at some point in their career and go, man, I suck at this.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't do it or should get some help. But no, they just continue on like nothing. They don't do chart reviews. They don't look at their own calls. They're okay with doing
Right.
things egregiously. They make excuses for why it went south. And they're just like, yeah, whatever. I'm
Because-
still awesome.
They don't see that they did anything wrong.
But I'm sorry. There's, you know, there is only so far that excuse can get us in
I mean,
our job. Like,
Think of the providers that you've had that have had this. Like the one that I'm sure Gerard was referencing before that has screwed all of us over at some point. If you went to him and was like, hey, dude, like, what the fuck? What would he say? Oh, we did fine. We did everything
yeah.
we could. We didn't do
Yeah.
anything wrong.
Well, I didn't have enough time.
Yeah, they don't see what they did wrong. They do nothing wrong in their mind.
which is crazy. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I've actually been thinking about that a lot. It's like, because I know there's a few, more than a few that I know, and I think about them and I'm like, yeah, how do they get off just practicing the way they practice and justifying the things they do or don't do, and I'm just like, I think about it and I'm like, they must have hit some point where they were able to just say, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
And
They hit the wall of, I'm done.
yeah, I don't care anymore. And I'm like, I don't
Then
know.
why are you still doing it?
Yeah, and it's like I'm always
Because
so worried about
it's-
it that like even for myself, like I'm like, fuck, am I horrible? Am I bad? Do I suck?
I mean, we all suck.
well, you know what I mean. But like I'm constantly fucking worried about that. And
But
I'm
I
like-
think,
and I don't think they are anymore. I think they've hit that point where they just don't care.
yeah. And like Emily said, why do they continue to do it? I think because it's all they know.
Yeah, it's
and-
not our flip burgers.
And
yeah,
they could easily get away with it.
right,
Who
Well, that's
cares? Right, because management's not,
right. There's no accountability.
there's no accountability in the management structure.
Right.
Right.
And they can get away with it. They
And
can
9
get
times out
away
of 10,
with
they've-
whatever they want.
They've been in it so long, they know all the management people. They're all buddies. They're all part of the same boys club.
Right.
So they're not going to take their little buddy and throw him under the bus.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And they know that.
So it's like, you look at it, and to get back to this type of situation, you have, from the outside looking in, an EMT that wants to do good at their job and get better, right? That's worried about their skills and their image to other medical providers, which is a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're being weighted down by this person who shouldn't probably be doing this job. But is just there.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're looking at a way of maybe they can't fix their schedule. Maybe they're stuck. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, it's...
Yeah, I mean, if it, you know, aside from, you know, we don't know, is it because of something they've done themselves that have, you know, taken any trust away from, you know, this paramedic? I don't know, because I don't know anything about this person.
Right.
I'm going on the assumption that it's not, that they're trying to do the best they can do, and they're
Agreed.
being shut down.
Me too.
Honestly, you know, if you don't want to confront them, you don't want to shame them, and you don't want to tell the town crier, any one of those things, honestly, I would look for someplace else to work.
Yeah. And that's kind of, so that's ultimately what I came down to. I got this a while ago, and I had a conversation with the person, and they're a long time listener of this show.
Okay.
And one of the things that I stroke the old, you know, podcast ego of all four of us is that.
Hold on, let me get the loop. There we go.
I would think that if you're that invested in listening to us for entertainment and educational purposes, you're trying to be a good provider.
Yeah.
Like, I don't sit there and think that people that suck at this are going to listen to us tell them how much they suck.
Right. And anyone who's going to sit and listen to a podcast for EMS.
Yeah, trying.
Yeah, you're trying to learn something new, hear something different, you know.
Right.
Better yourself.
Exactly. So. And honestly, with that route of thinking, I don't know if this, you know, rustic district is 2 miles from Voldemort's house. I don't know if they're traveling, you know, 100 miles to get to work every day. I don't know. But I would probably, if that's the management structure that, you know, if it's true, they don't care that.
That's not somewhere you want to work anyway.
That's not a place that you want to be associated with.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
your reputation is not going to be great there. You're going to get the reputation of, oh man, you work there, and it's guilty by association.
I can confirm that, because I went and worked somewhere that in my head I was like, okay, this is going to be great. Like, this is, you know, the place actually, you know, was kind of special to me, and I thought it was great. I thought, and not to mention the actual job itself, where I would be an EMT, it was, you know, it paid great compared to other places. You know, it was a municipal service, shall we say? So you know, it wasn't just some ambulance company chasing dollars, things like that, right? And you know, all the wonderful benefits. And I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And I get there, and okay, we're having a good time doing what I'm doing there. But then I'm noticing, you know, there's just this overwhelming amount of laziness and people that just aren't really interested in doing their work. And then I start hearing things from other places. And then I start hearing other people saying, oh, you work there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It really
and then
is
you
a
get that
thing.
look like, oh.
You're one of those.
Yeah, you work there. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And, you know, we've said it 1,000 times. All you have in this business is your reputation.
Right.
So, you know, I've worked at bad agencies, and I've left agencies that were trending in the downward fashion because I don't want to be a part of the sinking ship that when their reputation goes down, mine goes down with it, because you're guilty by association. And it truly is a thing. You know, I couldn't tell you how many people that I've told don't go work there based off of prior experience of knowing how the agency works, or because of the reputation that agency has, and you don't want to be associated with that. You know? So if this place, you know, is that kind of place for you, maybe you don't want to be there.
Yeah, it's worth driving somewhere else.
It's worth driving an extra little bit to get somewhere else that has a better reputation.
When I left that place, I walked away from all that special extra shit and good pay and all that good stuff. And I went somewhere with less of everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was happy.
Yeah. And you know, you don't know what's out there until you try.
Yeah.
That's, you know, the grass is not always greener, but you don't know what color the grass is unless you actually get out and look. Right. And, you know, you don't want to be part of agencies that are going to limit your growth. You don't want to be part of agencies that, you know, are going to just give you bad habits. You don't want to have to change your schedule to get away from terrible providers. You don't want to have to change your schedule to ride a different truck just to get experience.
Right.
You know, that's not the agency that you should probably be working for, you know? And again, I don't know how rustic it is. It might be their only option.
Yeah.
You know, which then...
Well, if it is, you know, all I can say is put in for different shifts.
Yeah. You know...
get on a different truck with somebody else.
Yeah. Try and rearrange life to be able to get away from this person. You know, is there a person there that can mentor you?
Yeah.
That you can kind of slide under the wing of and be like, hey, you know, I am eager to learn. Teach me what you know.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, at the end of the day, at the very, you know, like last chance saloon, go to management and just say, look, you know, it's like a marriage. It's irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
I can't get along with this person. They can't get along with me. This isn't good for patient care. We need to be split up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make sure it's in writing and, you know, you hold their feet to the fire. And if they continue to let it go the way it is, well, down the road, if anything happens, hey, there you go. That's your ass, not mine.
Yeah.
You know.
Em, do you have anything to say on this?
No, I mean, I agree. I think that, you know, if management truly doesn't care, then that's probably not somewhere you really want to work anyways. Like, I will leave a job in a heartbeat if I think that the agency doesn't have the patient's best interest in mind, whether that's they're letting shitty providers keep functioning, you know, whatever the case may be. If you don't have my morals in the same line as yours, then I'm out. Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
EMTs, you know, in most of the state right now can get a job anywhere they apply to. And I don't think it's worth it. Because honestly, the only thing that's going to go is your mental health. If you're going to start to hate the job, you're going to get frustrated, and it's just not worth it. Like, you got into this profession for a reason. Remember that, and don't let anybody take the joy of this job for you away. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, and that's a lot. That, you know, I didn't even think about that through this whole thing, is how it affects you and increases burnout.
Yeah.
Just because you're like, fuck this, I'm not going to work. I got to deal with this person. Like,
exactly. And it's not worth it. Like, it is not worth you getting burnt out in this job because your partner is an asshole.
Yeah. I worked somewhere where there was this one supervisor that like I just couldn't stand her. And like, she had it in for me, I had it in for her. You know what I mean? We were oil and water. And literally every time that day would come around in the rotation that I would be on her shift, it was like I'd wake up in the morning and I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, so right off the my day just started off bad.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, you don't want to dread going to work before you even get there.
And that was it. There was an agency that I had worked for, you know, a considerable number of years where every single day I was like, I could call out today and not care. Right. You know, like, and then as I'd wake up bitter because in an hour I have to be in a truck, and I loved my partners there.
Yeah, yeah.
I hated the business.
Right.
I hated the agency, and I hate everything about the agency.
Right.
You know, and it was miserable, but you know, I'm a loyal guy to my agencies typically.
But when you believe in what they're about, you know what I mean? And if I'm not loyal to you, it's not worth it for me to go there. I'm not benefiting you. I'm not benefiting me. I'm not benefiting my patient. So I'm out.
Right.
You think like that. Some people don't. Like, I stayed there for years being unhappy just because I thought that, you know, I needed to be loyal to this certain place. And I think, you know, that's something that has to be looked at, because people do have this innate loyalty to an agency or whatever. And, you know, and it doesn't have to be like that.
I think what makes it more so is, like you said, you enjoyed the people you worked with. You liked the people you worked with.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even necessarily think it's you being loyal to the company. It's you being loyal to your buddies.
Agreed.
You know,
Agreed.
It's kind of like that same blood, same mud type shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, yeah. I mean, I remember the first time I decided I was going to leave a place that I enjoyed working at, and I was like, because I was going somewhere that had, I was going to make more money, and it was going to be less stressful for me to go to paramedic school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those decisions where it was like one of the hardest, you know, giving notice letters I've ever written.
Yeah.
And it had nothing to do with me, you know, believing in the agency or,
right,
you know, giving a flying fuck about how much money they made or what their call volume was. It was about all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to leave my friends.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like where I'm at today. You know, I'm like, you know, here's this another opportunity. I'm going to go somewhere where I think the grass might be greener.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping
They have more sunshine there, so it probably will be greener.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean.
Well, yeah, true that. But, I mean, but you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping it's different.
Oh, it'll be
And
different.
in a good way. Not different in a bad way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And here again, you know, it's this horrible feeling of walking away from people you care about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, if you're happy with the people around you and you enjoy their, you know, being there and working with them, it makes it really, really hard. But if you're going around and you're fucking miserable, fuck that, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Your buddies will be buddies if they're true friends.
Or just bring them along with you to the next agency.
Right, go to the next place and say, hey, the water over here is better.
Right,
you know?
sluck them over there, right?
We got better tchotchkes. Come on over, you know?
No, it's, I mean, there's been a lot of times where, you know, I try and bring over people that I think would be a really good fit for a certain agency or whatever. And, you know, you get to start working with people that you enjoyed,
right? You
know, working with previously or, you know, that are friends of yours or whatever. So yeah, it's a possibility.
And I'm sure it's the way it is everywhere.
Right. You know, it's definitely a possibility, but yeah, I think Emily, you really drove the point home and you have to consider your mental health of the thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about your proficiency as a provider, but it is about your mental health as a provider and just a human being. And that you can't sacrifice that because it's a job and you need the money or whatever.
Right.
You know, so hopefully, you know, we gave this person at least some option, you know, to fend off this situation. It's not a great situation to be in by any means of, you know, how you look at it, but I think we've all been there in one experience or the next. There were definitely a bunch of partners that I didn't like.
I have definitely noticed there's also seems to be like an age correlation as well. People younger than a certain age seem to have this, you know, especially the ones that do the, you know, forgive me, I've never been an EMT, but I'm going right to paramedic type thing. Yeah. And then they have the God complex along with it, with the ego and everything else. And they're of this age where they don't think there's anyone out there who can kick their ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
You've never gotten your ass kicked and it shows.
Yeah, right?
Until one day, you know?
Yep.
And it's you know, it's something like, I mean, I found out at an early age, you know, I was a kid walking into some new school and I'm like, I'm Billy Badass. And then Billy Badass showed up and was like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no, right. It's so true. You know, you have to get somebody has to be there to put the old humble pie in their face.
Yeah.
You know, and again, if that's you, that's great. If it's management, awesome. Fuck it. If it's the medical director,
right, even better,
right? Go above management to the medical director, right? Yeah. There's an option we didn't even think about. And if you really, you know, sit down and reflect and think about things, and you know, and it's just you look at it and you're miserable, then maybe you just need to get the fuck out and let them sink in the ship.
You know what? I just thought of a great quote.
Oh, who's it from?
Oh boy.
It's from a fictional character, actually.
Okay, I think those are the best.
This one is, I don't know, it just popped in my head. I'm like, oh my God, this would actually fit here.
Okay.
So it's from a TV show that used to run. It was called Justified.
Okay.
Okay. And the main character is a deputy U.S. Marshal, and he's talking to somebody about, they're having a bad day or something, and he imparts these words of wisdom on them. He says, look, you go around all day and you run into an asshole, well, then you just ran into an asshole. You go around all day running into assholes, you're the asshole.
Ain't that interesting?
Yeah. I might get that tattooed.
There you go. Is that a reminder not to be an asshole or that you are an asshole?
Probably a little bit of both, I guess, right? Depends on where I get it.
Oh, God. Hey. Oh, jeez. Maybe that new doctor will do it for you.
There we go. Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness. So if you guys don't have any other, important parting words of wisdom for Voldemort, Han Solo, Chewbacca here, I think we'll wrap it up. I think this was a good conversation. I'm glad that somebody at least, wanted to confide in us and in an issue. And, I think, you know what, to carry us home, Gerard, what is your favorite Subway sandwich?
Ooh. Well,
because I only ever order two things when I go there.
See, I'm kind of the same way. Like, for me, it's either, and it's just like the my standby is just the Philly cheesesteak.
See, I've never been bold enough to try it.
Yeah, it's just, if you just need something utility and you just want to just no fuss, no muss, be able to eat it in the truck without stuff falling all over you.
Yep.
It's quick and dirty and easy. Otherwise,
just like a hooker.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you literally just made it sound like I know all about that.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. I'm not going to. No. Anyway. So, I'm thinking. Oh, wow.
This should not take that long, man.
No, because now I'm sitting there thinking about this other one. I'm like, oh, my God, that's right. I forgot about that. All right. Well, I'm going to say the BMT. I like the BMT.
The BMTs are?
Yeah. With most of the fixins, I like the banana peppers on there,
Now you're getting too spicy for me.
Gotta have a little spice of life.
Yeah, no, that would kill me.
A little thin thing of mayo.
Okay.
I like a good bread sandwich,
Nice bread sandwich.
Nice bread sandwich. Thin
All right.
slice of rye, piece of wheat, then another thin slice of rye.
Does Emily have a
I
favorite
feel like
Subway sandwich?
I'm going to blow your mind with this. I've only had a Subway sandwich once in my life.
Which would probably be your favorite, so which one was it?
It wasn't, which is probably why I've never had it again, but it was a veggie delight with honey mustard.
So you had salad on bread.
Right. So you
Yep.
literally had a bread sandwich.
Legitimately with honey mustard.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, why the fuck do people actually go to this place to eat?
How about, no. It's not necessarily where they go to that place. It's why the fuck would people go to a sub place and order a fucking sandwich with no meat?
I mean, that's fair. But, so
It just sits out all day.
Kelsey and I spent a year
Not all of
together
it.
in a truck, right?
Just a few hours, get some sweat on it.
Ugh. Goo. So through the medic internship with Kelsey and I spending so much damn time together, we ate at a lot of Subways.
A lot?
A lot.
Were they soft?
Like, a lot. I know some soft people.
They were soft?
They were so soft. I found out that hers is turkey and cheese with nothing.
Without.
With nothing.
With
turkey,
nothing.
cheese, bread. No sauce, no nothing.
What?
Turkey, cheese, bread. And I'm like, how in the fuck do you eat turkey, cheese, and bread? Like,
Oh, that's
Well,
like
when
this.
she goes to the diner, she gets chicken strips cut up on a wrap. That's it. No cheese, no dressing,
Yeah.
Dude, so
she eats like a child. I mean, she is a child,
Yeah.
but she eats like an 8-year-old.
So this place I work at, or just literally just left. There was one there. He would order like triple stack pound of fucking bologna between 2 pieces of bread.
Yeah.
Zero.
Just
Nothing else.
What?
Eat the bologna
Just
roll.
the fucking bologna in the middle of a bread.
Yeah, just eat the bologna roll. Fuck the bread.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Gross.
I do.
What's your favorite turd?
I do the BLT.
BLT?
I do the BLT, but I put
It's close to a veggie sandwich.
it is. It's close.
Got some swine, but that's about it.
You know, I put cheese on it. I put what's kind of weird is I'll do the bacon, and I do a little bit of lettuce, tomatoes, pickles and olives,
Mhm.
and then mayo, and then I put oil and vinegar on it.
Yeah.
With like typically Swiss cheese. I would rather cheddar, but I hate that 50-50 mix that they have.
So why don't you just throw a little, I don't know, something else in there with the bacon, like a little turkey, maybe a piece of
Because
salami.
then it wouldn't be a BLT.
It'd be better.
And BLTs are like the king of the kings of sandwich.
It depends on if the bacon is good.
I mean, their bacon's not the grandiose of
It's
bacon,
not
but
great.
it's not terrible. I've had worse.
It ain't great.
Let's put it this way:
Gross.
Hatfield is worse. Hatfield bacon is like the worst bacon ever created on the history of
man.
the sun. I don't know where they get their fucking pork from,
Probably
but
Hatfield.
oh my god, it's so bad.
Yeah, I know. It's like yeah. Whoever blessed their fucking the rabbi was phoning it in that day.
Seriously,
it's
it
most
is
definitely not kosher.
Blah.
It's not good.
It's grimy.
I know. But it's your favorite sandwich.
But it is my favorite sandwich. But they have a new one that I want to try. It's one of those roasted chicken sandwiches.
Nah, don't bother.
Just
tried
once.
it.
Just
Yeah.
once.
I've tried it.
Just once.
It's the meh emoji.
Meh. All right. I mean,
Meh.
it's like your Philly cheesesteak. It's meh. It's your utility.
I agree. It is meh.
Yeah.
But it's filling.
Exactly.
You know.
That's why I want to
It's got
try it,
meat.
just to see if it's different. It's got meat.
Gross.
You know what else has meat? The dirty pirate hookers on the end of the streets.
They do, even though they're dressed like women.
Oh. Anywho, with
I
that,
take that to a horrible place.
yeah, you did. With that, we are going to end. Thank you, Gerard.
Thank you.
From the brand new bunker, Gerard, you will be joining us via Skype from now on. So it has been great to have you in front of me all these years doing this.
Yeah.
But I have to say farewell to you since you're leaving us tomorrow. I know I'm going to be slightly tearish tomorrow morning, knowing that you're going to be leaving. But
I'm already there.
but you know that your door is always open at my place, so your door is always open.
I was gonna say
Your
my
door is
door-
always
What?
open here. My door is always open there. Leave me
We're
alone,
just
all
gonna leave
right?
the doors open. Anyone want to come rob it? Come on. It's all good. The doors are open.
All right, guys. Till next time, stay safe.
And wow, so long donuts.
I mean, not really so long, donuts.
Not really.
It's not like you're leaving the show.
I know. Feels like, it feels like a goodbye. It has that
It's
finality to it.
not a goodbye. It's you're going to be on a scratchier microphone.
Yeah, I'm just like looking around here, and I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna be in this room ever again.
I mean, you could be.
Well, I'll be here packing stuff up and bringing stuff down, but that's about it.
And you can always visit.
I know.
And when you visit, we'll record.
I know.
And I'll play your favorite intro. You have returned. Fine. All right, guys, take care.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you'd like more information on the podcast or to send us a call to review, visit medicmaterials.com/podcast. To learn more information, like us on Facebook at Medic Materials EDU or watch our weekly instructional videos on the Medic Materials YouTube channel.